Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Open Enough to Listen. We have Brandon and Coach K. We're going to go ahead and do part two of Love Ain't Free, but does it owe you? So let's get right into it. Coach K, you got something you want to get off your chest because we didn't finish?
Yes, well, Brandon has, I feel like you issued a call to action, Brandon. That's how it feels. Um, let me make sure I'm live on my end because it's not showing up yet on this page. But so what happened is, yes, I am live. I mentioned to Brandon that I was debating whether or not I could go younger, right? And I could go a little bit younger, but we're talking about a lot younger than me. And what I was saying is, I immediately started with what I'm not going to be doing. I don't remember one thing, but I said I'm not going to be, I'm not making grilled cheese sandwiches and casseroles. And
That's
Brand,
exactly what you said.
and what did you say to that?
What I said was, how do you expect? Hold on, like you want to know what I said?
To
In
me?
which part?
Well, because I'm just going to repeat that because I still feel that way. I still feel like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that well, it's not in my plan to prepare
Mm-hmm.
anything. If I'm dealing with
Mm-hmm.
someone, he's just coming over and whatever, a younger guy, I don't want to be the sugar mama that's making you meals, and I just don't envision that for myself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't think you got to be up, making a meal and all that stuff. But how do you? I mean, my exact words to you was, if you want to get put through a mattress, how do you expect us to do that on an empty stomach? Especially when you're
And,
dealing with a young guy. A young guy, you feed him. This is this is grade A textbook, like Kruger ethics 101. Like, the first thing they do, the first thing older women do is feed you. It's feed you. So if you take that out the equation, it's kind of like, like I said, for me, I'm like, hold on. Yeah, I kind of want to eat too, especially when I know you could cook.
I know, and that's why I would be faking it like I can't cook,
See,
and being grateful that you don't have access to my old Facebook page with all these recipe albums and stuff.
but a lot of young men that date older women are looking for a mommy figure. Like, that's what attracts them.
Yeah. I think it's also, if I'm totally honest, triggering for me because the person I was married to was a couple years younger than me, just three. But
Oh,
I
that ain't that
hated
much
it.
younger than you.
But I know, but I hated it. I felt like I want somebody who's older than me, who's wiser, who knows things and can kind of like lead me naturally because he's older than me. But what I'm finding out, which is what I told you and Don before, is that a lot.
Wise don't have an age. Being wise don't have an age. I don't have a look. They don't have a shape. They don't have,
Exactly. Exactly.
So
But
you could find a wise young dude, or like, that's still possible, because, like I said, there's no age on how wise a person is. Like, I know people, my age that is dumb as a box of rocks. I know people my age that are very intelligent, that, sometimes I don't like talking to them because they so damn smart. So I mean,
Mhm.
or so wise, like I was talking to Domino. I got a couple brothers that I wanted to get on the show to talk with, to talk with us and have a little dialogue with. But this is sometimes this guy, sometimes when he say things, it makes me like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so wise, and he's only what, 6 months older than me. But you know what I'm saying? He is very, very, very wise. Very wise. And I love that. And when he comes on, you gotta tune in. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wise ain't got no age. That comes with growth and the work you do in yourself
Well,
and the
you guys
knowledge that
taught me
you
that.
seek.
Yeah, you guys taught me that because I did. I don't want to call it a date, but I dealt with this guy who was, I think, mid 40s after my divorce, very briefly, and the conversation was absolute trash. I mean, I think he was enjoying it, and he was talking a lot too, and I was like, TikTok, that's like way too much conversation. So
Right.
I was grouping in, oh, all younger guys, the conversation might be trash. But since I've been talking to you guys, I'm like, because how old are you, Brandon?
Shit. 36 or 37, one of them.
Yeah, see, I feel like this is how I feel. The mattress, everything you described, that's I would go to the 30s if I was looking for that. But if I felt like this could turn into something, I don't think I could. I would have to be like late 40s. And then I worried that the young dudes might be, even though they said they were cool with it, then they might start to lean in and have different thoughts. But I could be totally wrong on that. 'Cause that's a
But
huge.
what if your Mac? But what if your the guy you actually get along with and mesh well with is younger? You just gonna turn that away because he's not 42, 43?
But where is it going? Where are you going with that big of an age gap?
I mean, well, it depends on where the age gap is at, but that can go many of places. Now, if we're talking 19 and 34, yeah, that might be a little different. But if we're sitting here and we're talking 37 and 55, there's a lot of guys 37, 36, 37 that got they shit together. All way right. I know a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But that don't necessarily mean it can't go nowhere because of that age gap. Like I said, now if you talking 18, 35, I don't know what the hell you a 35 and an
Right.
18-year-old got the fuck to talk about. But I can sit here at 37 and have some sort of intellectual conversation with you or a conversation with some substance. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I think you putting too much onto the age thing. You know what I mean?
So since we're going there, there's a couple of considerations, I guess, on both sides because at 53, it would be a struggle to date someone seriously who had young children. And then I'm mommying all over again. So a lot of women are turned off to that, right? Whereas on the flip side, the guy can say, she's going to be 60 in 7 years. I don't know what kind of support she may need. Like your children are finally adults, and now your partner needs additional whatever, which might not happen. I mean, Charlena is 60. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you see how good she looks.
Right.
Okay. And her husband, they look fantastic. They're in better health than people 20 years younger. So, but it's
Right.
a risk, is what I'm saying. There's a risk on both sides, I guess.
Yeah.
Dom, you're on
Can't
mute.
hear you.
I think it's a risk period. I think on any situation, whether you're dating young, whether you're dating old, why you just dating in general, it's a risk because you don't know if that person is going to be the one for you until you pretty much do trial and error. Which
Yeah.
lead me to another thing because we kind of talk about it as guys, but I want to ask you, um, from a woman's perspective, what do you consider is the quote unquote good guy? What I mean by good guys, you know how the saying as far as the good guys finish last. What do you look at as a from a woman's perspective? What is a good man to you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm in a great space to answer this question now because I feel like I am completely done with superficial things like swag. It's just it's a whole bunch of shit that comes with that I have no interest in anymore. But I think a good guy is someone who moves with heart, has genuine good intentions. He's a giver. He's not selfish, and he genuinely cares about your emotional well-being. He knows what you do for a living. I was with somebody for a long time who couldn't tell anybody what I did for work. That says a lot. Somebody who knows what matters to you, and they actually care about it. They're not trying to get you to like blue because blue is easiest for them. If you would prefer yellow things, that's what they will provide. They actually care. So, and he's protection. He's also very protective of you, and not in a crazy OCD type of way, but protective of everything, your heart, your feelings. If somebody else is coming for you, he sees that. He sees, and has your best interest in mind. But he may be a nerd, and that's the thing that because a lot of women can still be into the flash, you don't notice the guy, maybe, he's got the dad bod, or, he's a little on the nerdy side. Brandon, you're muted too.
My sound went out, so I kind of missed that last part.
I was saying he might be on the nerdy side. I would rather, I feel like some of them, although some of them could be too, but
Them be the ones. Them be the ones. No, I'm just playing. But no, I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know really. Like I answered that question yesterday, and like I said, I think the whole good guy, bad guy thing is opinionated. It's something that's going to come with everyone's experience of you, I think. So you're always going to be a bad guy in somebody's story. You're going to be a good guy in somebody's story. Maybe, like I thought about this last time we got off. Like, what if, you know how people's like, well, I'm a good person, and I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. But sometimes we don't think about, but is that what that person needs? Like, what if a good guy to Coach K is a shitbag or a horrible guy to, the next one? You get what I mean? So it's like I just think it really just based more off your situations and in dealings with that person.
does it though? I don't know if a
I
good
do.
guy, it varies. Like, I know some guys that I think are good guys, and I think most people would say he's a good guy. The thing is, they can be on the boring side. See, that's what that I don't can't believe I didn't say that first, because that's what trips a lot of us up. They may not come with any level of excitement at all, but that also means you don't have any drama. At the
Right, but like I said, that good guy for you may not be the good guy for the next woman, or the woman he dealt with in the past. Like, she might have something completely different to say. There's a lot of women that I've dealt with that say, I'm a great guy. I am a good guy. But I definitely can find a couple that would say, nah, nah. They can point out great traits that I have, but they might not say I'm a great guy because of in the capacity they dealt with me or whatever the situation was. But yeah, I don't think a good guy or bad, like, I don't think a good guy or bad guy is really, I don't think there's a definition to it.
hmm
You know what I mean? It's whatever you feel, whatever you make. Just like a good girl, bad girl. I don't think it's a definition to a good girl or a bad girl.
hmm
What do you define good or bad? And all that is opinionated.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You might find something good that I don't think too keen of. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I do think every relationship has its own DNA. It could be the same person, but when the two people, it's not going to be the same. You're never going to be the same. The dynamic is different. All the energy and everything around it is different. So if I look at my relationship history, I don't think I showed up the same in those interactions. I don't think they could sit at a round table and say some of the same things. I would hope
No,
not.
no, 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 because they never, each guy didn't get the same Coach K. Like, you were a different person in each relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same way with like having multiple kids. Like, I I say this thing like, where like even though my kids all grew up in the same household, they don't got the same parents. You get what I'm saying? They don't, because we were in different places, different mindsets at the time when we were in those relationships, those situations. So yeah, everybody is going to have their own interpretations of you, or their own definition of, are you a good guy or a bad guy? But like I said yesterday, to me, that like I said, that doesn't matter to me, right? Because if I think I'm a good guy and I do things the right way, from knowing right from wrong, right? You know what I mean?
hmm
Who's who could call me a bad guy if I say I'm a good guy?
Somebody who's not happy with something you said or did.
Exactly. But how many people can we find that are happy with everything that I've done and will call me a good guy? It's just really opinionated, you know? Like,
Yeah. I hear you, Dom. You're on mute.
Okay. Um. Okay. I know. Like last time, we kind of left off when we had to get off when we was talking about um the questions when regarding sex, as far as the expectations when it comes to male and female. So I know I answer. I don't think Brandon got a chance to answer when it comes to what will be his expectation when it comes to sex from a woman. Like when you walk in the door, she poses just drop it, or is it opposed to like how is what's your interpretation? Like so a woman could kind of have that understanding. You got to unmute. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I need
When
to
you
hear this,
asked,
Brandon. I need to hear
when
this.
you had a, when you had asked that question, I and I think you put it more so like if being in a marriage, do you think that there are certain what you call it expectations for sex and all that stuff? And I think everybody agreed that yes, it is. It is, it is, it is. I do think there is an expectation. You know what I'm saying? First of all, let's start before we got married, right? Before we got married, we humping like cats and dogs. We going, we we fucking. We going crazy. You get what I'm saying? You get married, things slow down, whatever the case may be. I did say that I think it is up to both parties to make it so where that is not such a struggle. So if I know that, hey, I might have went I might have worked all day, or she might have been home dealing with the kids all day, and I'm getting off work, and if I know I'm trying to get in where I fit in, instead of her cooking, hey baby, I'm bringing home some pizza.
Hmm.
Hey, do me a favor. Make sure they all get in the shower, you know what I'm saying, by 6 o'clock, and we be good to go. You know what I mean? So I'm
And that
taking
could be
certain
code
things off.
word. I'm
I'm
bringing the
taking certain
pizza.
things off your plate so that I can get what I expect. Make sense?
Wow, it's the way you said that. It's the way you said that. Because see, I feel like I don't love a situation where the one person is only doing it because you got to have it, and it's not we just are really attracted to each other and we like to connect as much as possible. I wish it could be um organic, where or you both have the commitment that this is a priority for us. We're not trying to have like a schedule per se, but we got this goal, or whatever, to keep to stay, whatever the agreement is you come up with. What my point is, the way you just phrased that made it feel like it was more about you need to have it, and that's like a turn off. You're on mute, Brandon.
No, no, ma'am. It's not a thing where it's like I have to have it, because she has her needs too, and we both have our needs, and we both deal with daily struggles. We both go out here, we bust our ass, whether she's busting her ass in the house or at a job, and I'm busting my ass in the house or at a job, because you do have some men that stay at home and do that part. You know what I mean? But either way, we're both tired, but we both signed what I like to call a contract. This is a contract between me and you, okay? So whatever we have to do to fulfill this contract, I think, yes, there is an expectation to do that. Now, if that's something that you're not into, if it feels like it's a job, it probably shouldn't be. You guys probably don't even mesh together. But if it's understood that, yo, my husband did everything he had to do. The kids is straightened out. I got a couple minutes. Let me take care of him, and it's vice versa. Because there's been times where I've come in, like I've came home and I've seen how tired she is and all this stuff, and you know what I mean. I took care of her. You ain't got to do nothing. Lay there, enjoy it. You know what I'm saying. So it's a 50-50 thing. But yes, there is expectation, because if you think that I am going to go to work every day, and same way with you, if you think I'm gonna go to work every day, pay all these bills, provide, do all this, do all that, do all this, and I can't, and I'm relieving myself, or you can't relieve me. If I'm taking things off your plate, take it off my plate. And that's the same way. I mean, and that's the same way she should feel. There should never because see that's how a lot of shit gets misconstrued because people don't want to have this conversation, and then you got the man is scared to tell her, or he's told her and she ain't paying attention because to her, oh, I'm being a mom, I got this going, I got that going on. I understand that, but you also made an agreement, just like I made an agreement to be your husband and I made an agreement to do certain things. You also made that agreement. So you can't
Mhm.
I feel like yes, this shit is transactional, okay?
But see,
It
and that's
is it
what I just don't like the way you're putting it. I don't disagree that
because I'm putting it in a
I don't see
transactional
it as
way
two
because that's what
separate
it is
things.
nowadays.
But no. You're making it sound like two separate things. He needs to take care of her. You know, if
She
she
needs to
or
take care
sometimes
of
he wants
him.
to take care of her, and she needs to take care of him. I get that.
Right.
I get that holistically. In a partnership, you take care of each other in all ways.
Hmm.
But when it comes specific to the sex life, it should be mutual. There should never be a point where she's laying there and she doesn't really want to do it, but she's doing it. She's to take care of you. That's what I don't like. And I think that I think there's a lot of variables here, and let me be
Hmm.
clear, because I don't want my reputation in the streets to be bad. I'm not a withholder, okay? But
Hmm.
I do believe that that is also because I was a pleaser as a partner. I'm on this mental schedule because I know he's got to have it. I did that for way too long. I'm not interested
It's
in that again. But also I wasn't in a situation where the person was doing the things I was asking for to meet my needs, so that I would be more naturally motivated, right? So
and that's the point I'm trying to make. If we can meet each other's needs,
right,
then that shouldn't be a problem.
and that's what
There
I'm
is
telling you,
a
Brandon, is
and
though
you may
it would
not
be
you may
organic. I'm
you
saying
may
it would
not
be
like
natural. It
you
would be
may not like
natural.
how and you may not like how I'm putting it. It may come across as a little abrasive or a little me, but it's not because there are certain things that you want from a relationship and that you find and that you hold to your heart to in a relationship that you expect your man to do. There are some men out here that expects that from their wife.
But
They are
Brandon,
not wrong and they shouldn't be
Well, let me
crucified
I,
for
let
wanting that and wanting
I'm
that
not saying
and
that.
wanting that expectation upheld because of poor time management, because we didn't get this done in time, because I can't give you that excuse when the rent is late. I can't give you that excuse when I'm lacking somewhere. I cannot give you that same shit that you're giving me. Oh, you making it feel like it's my job. Well, baby, it is. Just like it's my job. I have jobs here too. You have jobs, and that's fair. That is not unfair,
No,
and we shouldn't be crucified for feeling that way.
I might stay
We should not be
celibate.
crucified for
I
feeling
might
that way.
just.
but well,
But listen, I like to have sex. I want to have sex with the woman that I love, that I look at every day. You walk past me all the time in them goddamn panties looking all kind of good, and you want to sit here and tell me no, listen, no, 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 no. That doesn't sit right with me. Just like it wouldn't sit right with you if I was like, yo, baby, you got the rent this month because I'm just too tired to go to work this month. I can't even do that shit this month. I'm just not feeling it. You know what I mean? My back hurt. I'm tired. I don't want, like, if you're
I,
gonna open a door for that, you're gonna have to open the door for everything like that. Like, is
but
it
this
okay for me to lack?
hold on. No, I get what you're saying, Brent. But I think when it comes to that, it's more so understanding that men like us, we're more physical, so we can get it at the drop of the dime. Just a simple touch, and little man, he looking down at him, he got attention. But when it comes to the woman, it's more so they're more emotional. So I think like how you said, meeting halfway. If you're able to meet her halfway when it comes to fulfilling her needs
Exactly.
emotionally, and then the hope is that she can meet your needs physically, and that's where the balance comes.
Exactly.
Because when it comes to the physical standpoint, we all know, women at times, yeah, but it's like they gotta be stimulated, rather it's intelligent, having a conversation, rather it's touch. Is all women are stimulated in different ways, but I think you have to meet that emotional connection instead of just. I'm not saying you demanding it, but it's at the same time, it's just like it just has to be mutual when it comes to the emotional and
That's
the
what I'm
physical.
saying. Dom, you gotta let
And
me speak. You gotta let
and
me
and
speak, Brandon.
go ahead.
Oh, Brandon, I think we just broke up. Listen. It's the energy that I can't get with. I had this conversation with the guy like a month or so ago on a camping trip, and he was saying the exact same thing. If I'm the provider, if I'm paying the bills, you should be dropping it, you should be doing all this. But my issue with that is if you're taking care of me right, you can touch me anytime you want to. But when you come with that energy like that, it's a turnoff. Now, and maybe not to all women. I'm sure not to all women because men can act however they want. They always gonna find a woman who's willing to deal with it. It's just an unfortunate state of affairs. But I'm just saying that for me, um, I don't want you to. I'm gonna feel like you're only doing for me. It's gonna feel performative. That's what I'm saying. With
Mm,
already
I
dealt
get
But
what
with
check
that
you
relationship before. Okay, I'm giving her these flowers. I'm gonna make up this bed
the
just so I can get some. I want you to do it because you care about me and you know I like the flowers and this. If that's your
the
intention,
energy. Okay, so hold
but
on. The energy
if that's your intention with
is
every
because we're having a conversation and we're being open. That is not the energy that no man should be giving his woman. But that's why I said if you take care of certain things, do certain things, and get if you can
but your
meet each other in the
expectation is still
middle.
there though. You said it.
Right, because you still have expectations, whether you want to voice them in a abrasive way or a blunt way, whether you want to force it or not force it, but say it without sugarcoating it, you still have your expectations. You still have your expectations. You still have your expectations. There are certain things that won't get you there if your expectations are not met.
I think
There are
everybody
certain
is
things,
entitled to
there are certain
expectations, but Brandon, the difference is the sexual expectation bothers me because it requires the use of another person's body who may or may not want to be touched in that moment for whatever reason. And so for me in real life, if it was like I totally get it if it's like a constant denial, right? And you have a
yeah, and
partner
that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about you being tired and we're like, oh
every
nah,
now and then.
listen, this
I'm
is what
saying
I
every
want
now and
and
then.
come get it. No, I'm not saying that. What
No,
I'm
this
saying
dude
is when
said
it becomes
every
a
time.
problem,
He said every
when
time.
it
He don't
becomes
care if you're in the
no,
mood or not.
I never no, no. We gotta
Not
go
you.
back
I'm
and
saying
rewind
the
that.
original
We gotta
person.
go back and rewind that. I did not say every time.
No, not
We've
you.
been I'm we're talking about on a constant basis when it starts to become a problem. Because
Right.
it's not a
Okay.
problem for us to lay
Okay.
there and not do
Okay.
nothing. I am just fine with that. I am okay with giving you foreplay, and I don't mean touching your body. I don't mean licking on your playing, which I mean giving you foreplay all through the week. I'm cooking throughout the week. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm taking the cars, getting them. I'm doing things like that. I don't mind giving you that foreplay for a whole week. You feel what I'm saying? A whole
But are
2 weeks,
you doing
a
it
whole.
towards
But
sex?
when we,
Or are you
but
doing
when
it
we get,
because you love me?
I'm doing it because I love you. I'm doing it
Okay.
because I love you, and this is what you expect. You expect me to court
Mm.
you this way. You expect me to go 50-50 and help you out. You expect me to realize that, listen, she's been cooking all week. I'm not letting her cook tonight. Either I'm going to cook or I'm going to buy something. You expect those things from me. So in a couple weeks, whether we got to speak about it or not, we're going to go out, we're going to have a couple drinks but I'm saying when this goes to a point where it's every time you get, because I was there, I've been there. I've been there. Towards the end of my relationship, when we kind of both was just checked out, anytime there was an excuse coming from both ends. Oh, I ain't feeling it today. You know what I'm saying? But it probably because I was outside in the street doing something stupid. You know what I'm saying? It probably, she ain't feeling it today. Like I've been there, I've been there. And after a while, that will take a toll on your marriage. I'm not talking about two people that's just shacking up. I'm talking
Hmm.
about on your marriage, a marriage, your commitment, the contract that you signed, that will take a toll on it. That will take a toll on it. So you have to think about those things before you say, "Oh, I want to be married." Are you willing to commit to that? If your partner has a sexual desire, has a certain level of sexual desires or whatever, if they want to have sex once, twice a week, are you willing to commit to that? If you're not, then this is not the person you need to be with. And people don't want to talk about that because, oh, this person does this for me or they make me feel like this. But what about when that stops? Can you handle when that stops? Because like I said before
When you said love is
you
a
were a
drug.
single woman, you were a single mother, you were doing everything you had, like you were doing all this on your own, making sure your kids eat, doing all that shit, and you were still coming to see me, still being able to do that every
Big
night,
facts.
every other night. This is what I'm talking about. So y'all want to do this. So you want to go
Man, that's
back and
big
forth with me
facts.
when if we go back, you are a single mother, shorty. You're a single mother. Your kids at home. You will feed your kids. You will do everything they need to do, and you will have them in bed by 9 so you could be laying in mine by 10. Why does that stop now that we are together? Why are you all of a sudden tired when I'm here helping you and you were just doing it on your own?
And
You
And
can't
I got
give
a
me no excuse like that when I've been dealing with you for this long. Now I can see if we just met and that's how things were. If that was the tone that you set, I
mhm.
got the right to, hey, this is for me or this ain't for me. We not doing it enough. But you cannot set that tone after the fact. Like you
I
cannot do that
totally agree.
and then
I
make the
don't I
excuse
don't
say
disagree with that.
because the first thing a man is gonna think, because now we about to get into what I'm gonna think as a man, right? If we go from that to oh I'm tired every day for the next 2 weeks, you're doing something. Either you're doing something or you're not into me. Maybe you're not even doing that, but you're not into me no more. I'm not feeling that, you know what I'm saying, that want, that, like so it does like that will end your marriage.
And so let me say this real quick, Brandon.
The lack of sex, lack of intimacy will end your
I
marriage.
have never done that. But what I have done is the reverse, done when I did not want to, in multiple relationships to please him because he would threaten cheating and, oh, it's better you than somebody else. Just that. So that, what I'm trying to tell you is there are some women out there who you heard that for years. And so you don't know what it feels like to not be objectified because that's what that is.
You're
That's what
right.
that is. My
Hmm.
needs didn't always necessarily matter, or they felt like, well, I did this little thing for you right here. Why wasn't this enough? I brought you this cookie on Tuesday. You should be very motivated. But I just don't ever want to be in a situation again where it's. I want the sex to be the result of the good ass relationship we have, and it to be a celebration every time. I never want to feel like I got to give him some because it's Tuesday and he's got to have
So
it, and I'm
so
not really. And
make sure you know your partner that
yeah,
you are deciding to marry.
yeah.
Because once again, if that's what they want and that's what they require and you sign that contract, you are obligated to live up to that.
Well, and also he's got to be he's
Or
got
at
to
the
be
best of
willing.
your ability, at the best of your ability.
And I don't have, but
But
see,
I
I
mean,
already know I won't have an issue with that. But I will say, as a slight, not really a segue, but when you can get it, but if you ask for it the way you want it, or maybe it's a little freakier than the guy likes, they don't tend to be very open to feedback, and it's boring. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna agree to keep doing this, but it's boring, and they're
So
not necessarily open to your suggestions.
I'm gonna say to Coach, I get what you're saying because it feels as though from the woman's perspective, it feels as if like you only doing it for this. You're not doing it for like really me. So like you said, it starts to become just an objective to let me just check off this box so you can get what you want. So I get what you're saying from that standpoint. I
but don't
know
we
you
all do
can't
that?
answer it.
Don't we all do
Um,
that? When you give a gift, most of the time, what you sitting back doing? Waiting on a reaction. Don't we all do that?
I'm I'm
it's
Don't we
I'm
all
it's
do that?
different
waiting
though, but a
for
gift
you
is different than your body though. A gift is
I'm
different
just
than your body though. It
But it's
is.
fair
also
enough.
different than Brandon. It's also different than I might choose to get you some cookies from the store because I saw them and I knew you would like them. And there's no expectation of immediate reciprocity. We should be in a
No.
constant cycle of reciprocity, is what we're
Right.
just speaking ideally. We should constantly be in a state of reciprocity with each other. That what you're describing almost sounds like keeping score. Well, I brought you these cookies and I did these things, so now I should get, and you even acknowledge that it's transactional. That's the part that's
Because
not
because if you think about it, most relationships are transactional.
exactly.
Listen,
That's the problem.
and women are guilty of it just like men. Hey, you do this for me, you get this type of person from me. If you don't do this for me, you get this type of person from me. Relationships nowadays, these relationships nowadays 2025 is all transactional.
Yep.
Marriages, relationships, shacking, it's all transactional. We live in a what have you done for me lately type of world, and we've been living in that for a long time. So it's not just me, it's not just this situation. It's like that with most situations. Most situations is you give a little to get a little. Even when you're married, even when you're married, you
Yeah.
still have to get a little. You still have to give a little to get a little.
I think I'm gonna stay over here. All
So
that
so
sounds like stress.
and I think it is, but
It
I
is.
do like I know you say you can't answer that, but I know dating when it came to a woman who was single with kids, what he said, I'm serious because I know I've thought about it. It's just like, so
Mhm.
you don't have time to do these different things or you're always busy, but when you had kids and you were doing it on before I either came in to help or start to do whatever it came to the means, all of a sudden when you with them, your time management is all bad. But like he was saying, they'll have, okay, I got to feed the kids, I got to do this, and I'll be over your house and I'll spend, and it's then they'll get up and they'll go. So you be like really
Right,
thinking
right
like,
now. Right
yeah,
now.
that's
I
what I'm
go through
saying.
that
But
right
like,
now. Right now. I go through that right now. You get what I'm
I,
saying? That's what
I,
I'm saying.
it's just interesting. I would like to hear from a woman's perspective as to why it stops, because when they're single or when they're doing whatever they need to do to try to get the man, why does it stop? I think that's a really interesting question.
you know what? I do wish Charlena was here because I cannot relate to that. I've never done that. I think that things slow down a little bit here and there in the longest relationship I was in, but it's also because I felt pressure because he was a cheater. So I had a schedule. I had a playlist I would listen to. I had to do all the work myself. I gave myself my foreplay because I thought that it would help him not to cheat and keep my family together. It did. I mean, he cheated anyway. He was cheating anyway.
Yeah.
But so I didn't. I never dealt with that. And I was threatened with the cheating. Not as much in the latter part of the relationship, but in the middle. Oh yeah, there was a lot of that. It was never enough. That's really how I felt. Like there would never be enough. It was never enough. And I think that not to go too far down that lane, but I'm gonna tie this together with what I would tell you guys. There really need to be intimate conversations happening. There really needs to be intimate communication because there's always a root issue when a woman drifts like that. And you can either say, you need to do it because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, or you can really try to hear her heart and have and maintain that close relationship so that you understand each other more and what's going on. Because I can't speak for why some women do it, but I have some friends who have withheld, and it's because they started disconnecting, from him for whatever reason. I just feel like when that communication breaks down, the intimacy and the friendship and the mutual care isn't there anymore. That's a lot of what lights a woman up. And for me, and Brandon did hit it on the head when he said maybe she's not feeling me the same anymore. And I'm not saying that's always true, but I do know that when a woman is hot for her man and he's taking care of her, you can touch us anytime you want to. And that's that. I'm not now. She may go through hormonal things. I don't want to speak for every woman and say if your woman's not doing this, that means she don't really like you like that. But for the most part, what I know is when she respects you, when she's really into you, strong, and her attention is 100% on you, unless she's having some kind of physical problem, I feel like you could touch me whenever you wanted. But we got another young lady here, and I'm glad another woman's
Yes,
perspective.
we have another special guest, Jakima, and so because I thought the topic we was talking about was interesting. Now, Jakima, I don't know if you heard, but the question was when it comes from like a single woman. Brandon was discussing as far as why the energy that the woman have, whether it's take care of kids and then going to go with a man or with the guy that they're seeing or whatever, and all the things that come with that, and they will make sure all the responsibilities are taken care of. And then when they actually with the guy or the person, and the guy is actually helping her, all of a sudden things start to lack, whether it's the sex instead of in the beginning, and then rather when it comes to also the responsibilities when they was doing it alone single. So what if you have a take, what will be your take?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand it. So what you're saying is when a woman is typically doing it by herself, and then she gets help, a helpmate who comes in and start doing it. And in the beginning they are hot and heavy, and then it dissipates. You're asking why it dissipates.
why it dissipates, and like what happened to that same energy? Like for example, oh, I'm tired, but it's like you wasn't tired when you was cooking for your kids, making sure they got to bed on time, and then you will be at my house, an hour later.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so first I'm going to start here. It's probably not the thing that should be, but that door swings both ways. I want to make sure that it's clear. That door swings both ways. But generally speaking, it's quite simple. And I think it goes both ways too. It's like once I got you, I don't have to try as hard to keep you, right? That's unfortunately how it works. That should not be the case because I personally feel like if you went hard to get me, keep that same energy. And if I'm not keeping that same energy, I want you to come to me and tell me, like, hey, tighten up, sis. Like, this is what you did to get me. I'm gonna need you to keep doing that to keep me. Because the reality is, what you won't do, somebody else will. And that's just true. And so I can't speak for what other women can do or what other women do and won't do. I will say that anytime it has happened for me, my needs aren't being met somewhere else. I'm going to allow a man to lead to the extent that he's willing to lead, and I'm going to follow what he's putting down. Now, if you start slacking, baby, I got you. We about to slack together. I'm team us. So if I want you to give me what you want me to give you, be my mirror. So if you start slacking, then I'm going to keep doing me, but eventually I'm going to reflect what you're giving me, if that makes sense.
Brandon, does it answer your question?
Excuse me. Does it answer my question?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I
need not
mean,
being met. There's a reason why the
I mean,
woman's
well,
pulling back. So you're gonna fix the
yeah, yes,
problem,
and
or
that,
you're gonna make the
and
problem worse because she's not
no,
moving out.
it's not make. But see, that's where I'm sorry, I didn't see your name.
Jakima.
I'm sorry, Jakima. That's where she had said. Like, I understand that. I get that. I understand that. But that then now we need to have a conversation. If you refuse to have that conversation, if every time I want to talk about it, you feel like I'm coming on too strong, or oh, you're making this about you and this, that, and the third. Eventually, a man's only going to say these things so many times before we start taking our own action. We might not necessarily get up and leave you, but like she said, it does open the door for other things, because what you don't do and what I have to pull your teeth about and argue with you about, I don't have to do that over there. I can go there and do what I need to do, get what I get emptied, and then come back home. Like, this is the reality. Like, this is what men do. You get what I'm saying? So yes, she did answer my question. I do understand that. I get that. I've been there. Like I said, what I just said, maybe she wasn't into me anymore. Maybe I lacked somewhere to where that, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't her jam no more. And that is fine. I understand that. We can have a conversation. We can agree to disagree. We can come to terms and try to work it out, or we can part our ways. That is fine. That's fine. But that conversation has to be had, because if not, you'll just be sitting there wasting time. He'll probably be out cheating or doing whatever, still coming home. Why? Because he loves you. Yeah, I love you, but you're not, you know what I mean? That shit. Listen, that is a slippery slope. Sitting there playing with that man or that woman about their needs,
I,
whatever need that is.
But see,
I
women
agree with you.
women cheat because their emotional needs aren't met, and it's
And
so
women
ignored.
and men cheat because their physical needs aren't met. So the door.
Exactly,
So
but
it's
but
it,
but
it,
but
it's it, it's
Brandon,
just going like this. It
Brandon, the
doesn't make it
difference
no
is
better
this.
on
What?
either end.
But Brandon, I have to say this. The difference is this. The internet does not blow up about women cheating and telling men you need to meet her emotional needs. That's not the narrative we hear. It's always about the woman needs to be performing without enough looking. Nobody takes enough time to look at, are her emotional needs met, the emotional sex that she needs. You did say it earlier. You were like doing things through the week, mental floor play and things like that. And some guys got it down and they don't have a lot of these problems. Their woman is focused on them. The first compliment she gets every day is from him. He's affirming her all the time. She knows that he's loyal to her. It is a different type of energy. But what I'm saying is there's too much emphasis on the woman just needs to perform no matter what, and not taking time to look at why doesn't she want you to touch her. There's a conversation there that needs to be had, and it should not get to a point where you're having it defensively. It should come from a place of care. I love this woman and I really want to know why she don't want to connect with me the same way, and I want to find out before she slips too far away. But it shouldn't
But
reach a point where you're angry about it.
Okay, and it doesn't reach that point with most of the men, or anytime I've had to have that conversation. I've only had it once, but it never reached that point until she took it as an attack. It's not me taking it as an attack. It's not me being aggressive about it. It's just like Jakima said, hey, listen, I I need you to tighten up. But to say that, to say just like that, yo, I need you to tighten up. This ain't that, this ain't that there. That will rub her the wrong way, or
But
it
but
can rub her the wrong way. These
but let me ask you this
conversations don't
question.
come out healthy because people don't know how to listen to understand instead of listen to freaking reply. So whereas you just
I
hearing
agree.
me saying, "Oh, you ain't giving me sex. You ain't laying down with me. You ain't doing what I need you to do. You're not even no, 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 no. You're picking it out. Like you're picking certain things out of the whole subject that I'm trying to give you a broader span for. You get what I'm saying? And that part, and that's where the argument comes in, and that's where the defensive stuff come in. Because now when you react like that, you also make me feel like, yo, am I being like real? Like, am I a shitbag about this? Like, you get to making me second guess myself. Am I going too hard? Am I tripping? Am I not giving her the credit that she deserves? Am I not paying attention to her emotional state? Like, what is it? Because I got feelings too, and I'm emotional too. But how do I convey that without having to address your emotions too? You get what I'm saying? It's hard to have a conversation where I'm addressing my emotions and you listen and then you address my emotions. Usually, when I address what I need to address, now it's time to address what you need to address before you even address what I came to you about.
So can I ask a question though,
But
Brandon?
but
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off now. So listen, but I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you speak. Let me ask you this question. At the onset of the relationship, what are your non-negotiables? Are you making those clear? Let's get into the communication. Like what is going there? What is going on there? How are you talking about when we have a disagreement? This is how we're going to have a conversation. Are you making your expectations clear? Because if your expectations clear, you can't expect somebody to uphold them.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? Anytime you've made your expectations clear, and if we're talking about sex, did you make a sexual expectation?
Did I make a
Whenever you
sexual?
gave a, if a man ever asks you, you know what I'm saying, about your expectations, will you tell him about your sexual expectations?
If he asks me, absolutely. I believe in
If no,
informed
no, I
consent.
know, no, no, but see, that's what I'm saying. If he asks you just a question, what are your expectations? Will you tell him about your sexual expectations without him saying, "Hey, baby, what's your sexual expectations?" Will you say that? Most people
So
won't do that. Most people won't
you're
do that
right.
because they're learning each other. They're learning
You're
each other
right. I can give you that.
during the dating process. So when I talk about my expectations, I'm giving you those main ones without trying to scare you off. Like, look, baby, look, I like to have sex. You feel what I'm saying? Not saying I'm a nympho or nothing, but I like to do it. How quick would that turn? How quick would he talk himself right out of that thing?
He
You understand what I'm saying?
it depends on who he's talking to though, because
Exactly.
that's gonna be something that works for somebody. And if that doesn't
Exactly.
work for
Right, but
her, she go have
She
it.
has,
You
and
have
she has
given
the
her the
right to know
option,
that.
right? You have
and
given her
the
the
but
option to decide.
but
go ahead.
question: how many of those somebodies? Because the majority of those somebody, I could probably
That's
say,
where
is
I was
probably
going.
like 20%
It's,
compared
bro,
to that
man,
80%
man,
that
if you
would
keep
pretty
it,
much
man,
slip
if you
off of
keep it
like,
that
no, he
real
just
with
wants sex.
10,
That's it.
10 women, you keep it that real with 10 women, bro, you might have one to two that bite.
But let me
But
ask
The
you
other
this:
ones is getting the
why?
hell up out of there, like, oh, because
I,
it's gonna sound like what Coach
You
K is
just want
taking it
sex.
as.
okay, but let me ask you this question. So so you saying that you gonna have one or two to come like that. If a woman came at y'all like, okay, I'll give you everything you want, but this is what I expect in exchange. I expect you to be tied into my emotion, providing my emotional needs.
Brandon's
I
okay with
want you to
that.
make sure
It's
you take care of
transactional.
me in every aspect. You do what I'm expecting you to do, and I'm gonna do what you expecting me to do.
But you know what
Are
I
you are
hear
you
though?
ready for that?
That's fine. That's fine. If that's
Mhm.
how it came out to me. But you know what I hear when I ask what your expectations is? I want to be this. I live this type of lifestyle. I want a man that do this. I want a man that they'll never get that too intellectual. Like, yo, I want a man that's emotionally intelligent. I want a man that can sit down and communicate with me. It's usually something, yo, what can you do for me?
But
What can
Brandon,
you
that's
do
who
for
you
me?
attracting to you, though. We are
But
what we attract.
and
So
I'm
that's
not,
what you're
and listen,
attracting to you.
I don't, and look, I do not. argue with you with that. I don't. I will not argue. I will not argue with you with that. You feel what I'm saying? Because sometimes I can be a motherfucker, and I know I probably attract some motherfucking. You know what I mean? So I listen. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. I'm just saying that. Hey, yeah, yo. Now I
All
feel
I'm
like
saying, and I
Domino
sound like
leaving me
Coach.
out.
All I'm saying is, it sound like Coach K was saying it too, is that communication is the foundation for any relationship, right? Have these conversations. Let's talk about it. Like, yeah, let's talk about it. And if we can't get to a place where we are seeing eye to eye, then maybe this isn't for neither one of us. But allow us to
Exactly.
have a conversation.
But see, Brandon, I want to go back to something you said earlier that I didn't really love. You were saying that when I come to you with my emotions, but then you got your own stuff.
Yeah.
I this might feel unrealistic, but I desire for you to come to me about my emotions and for me to come to you about your emotions and for us to care about each other's emotional well-being and needs so that when you realize there's a decline in the sex life, you're not coming to me from a place, like I said, of anger or anything like that. You're coming to me like, baby, are you okay? What's wrong with you? Not talking about your needs, because I you told me at the beginning that you slightly nympho, right? So you
Coach
don't
K, Coach K, at 37 years old, at 37 years old, who I'm gonna say that to? Who gonna
So
tell me
okay,
that?
so look, I do
Who
want to
telling me
kind
that
of
at 37 years old? Ain't nobody
from a
telling me
guy's
that.
hold on, from a guy's perspective though, and this is just when it comes to the male and female somewhat interaction. Like women can express emotionally at work, your friends, depending on who you are, your girlfriends, your sister, all that. Guys, for the most part, we not doing that. And then it comes to the point in time, it's just like, okay, we'll try to say it, and you got to think from a guy's perspective. We'll listen to, you come home, you tell me how your day was, this is that, all the time. We keep hearing. Now when a guy finally does say something, right, and they try to express themselves, unfortunately, it may either be pushed away, or they'll talk, like he said, they will talk about their issues, and then that's when the guy can just shut down and then start to do their thing, or they'll say what they feel. All depending on what kind of guy you are. And then that's the thing I think that's frustrating. And it's not right, like I said, because we should be able to communicate more. But a lot of guys were just shut down based off of when they came to you. Because the way we feel is like, well, we will listen to you explain all this time, and the first time we finally come to tell you and break something down to you, that's the energy you give me. So we just shut down. And then you could potentially losing based off the communication. Like, is it right? No. But you got to think of from the guy's perspective that we always hear you. The only time we do try to open up and do try to be emotional about a situation is tied with something else, or where you need to do this, so it makes us feel like, okay, you didn't hear what we said, so we're gonna go about our business. So when it comes to what he's talking about, when it comes to why can't a man come to that woman, it's not fair that you guys would get one chance, but depending on the person or the guy, that's what happened. I know that's for me experiencing that happened to me. It wasn't right, but I shut down because it's just like, I've been hearing you for months. The first time I try to say anything, because I don't really, I'm quiet into myself and I don't let everyone in my business. But when I try to break down, I have this issue, it becomes, oh, well, I have issue this, and it's just like, okay, cool. And I'll hear all the issues, I'll address them, but you will never hear anything from me. But like I said, I'm learning to do better at that. But I just know when it comes to guys, not all guys, but some guys, in learning that transition, it's tough because we don't have outlets like you guys. Whether it's work, whether it's with your girls, whether it's sisters, we not talking, having those
Oh, but we got one
conversations
now,
like that.
though. We got one now.
Yeah, I was
That's what
gonna
this
say,
is for.
Brandon's getting better
I
show
feel
by
so much
show.
better.
He's
I feel
healing.
better when I
He's
after I do this with you. I feel better.
healing show by show. Do you think then that women should be more forward in checking in with their partner and asking him how he's doing emotionally, just at random times, just to kind of build that emotional trust so that he can, because men
Of
need a safe
course.
space badly.
That can never be a bad thing. That can never be a bad thing. Ever.
I'll say it could be. I could look at it two ways, and I'm just gonna go both ways with it. One way, absolutely, I think it'll be helpful. On the flip side, depending on the guy, they may always say they good when they not, and that's the tough part. So it can go both ways, where it is good that you checking, but they cannot tell you what's really going on. But hopefully, with the consistency, because I know you be like, well, I don't ask you no more because you always say I'm good.
And that's what
But
I was about to say.
yeah, but
I
it,
feel
it
like if
does
you are
it does
consistent,
help.
eventually he will break down.
Hmm, hmm.
I'm a firm
I agree with
believer
that.
that eventually, whether that man tells you, "Oh, I'm good" every single time, that will never hurt. It will never hurt to ask him how he's doing, because one day he's
It's
gonna
gonna
fuck
be a
you up
day.
and tell you.
Yep.
One day he's
Hmm.
gonna fuck you up and tell you, and you may not even know how to
How
even
to handle
address
that?
what he tells you. But you
But
got to be
but
ready for that. And it sucks that it has to be like that, but that's just the way it is sometimes.
and I get that.
But
But
women
do
can do the
you
same thing too.
but do you see that a woman being asking somebody every day, like, "Are you okay?" or checking in, however sporadically, and being told, "I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay," how that starts feeling like rejection to her?
Well, it doesn't have to be a everyday thing, and this is where it comes into knowing your partner. I could always tell when my partner. Hold on. I could always tell when my partner was off. I could always tell. So it wasn't a thing where I had to ask her every day, "What's wrong with you?" I could tell when certain things didn't go right, or she made a decision that she might not have made over here, or this way, or that. So then I get to, "Hey, are you okay? Is there anything you want to talk to me about? Do you want to do that? Do you know?" Now, it can feel like rejection. It can. But like I said, it comes to understanding the situation you're in and all that. You can't let that rejection deter you from what you know is a good thing. And checking on your man and always leaving that door open and giving him that opportunity whenever he decides to do it will never be a bad thing. It can only be a good thing. Maybe not, maybe he don't even take heed to it and he never opens up, but it gets you in the habit of not shutting down or feeling rejected. Is just it it just kind of will help you understand a little bit more. Like if you just did that, it's because it's little things. It's little things. So even a nigga that don't talk, even a nigga that's very quiet and don't talk, just asking him, not every day, not making it, not making it irritating or agitating, but when you notice something, or you got to pick and choose your battles. But don't choose every battle. Don't let every battle you lose, you get what I'm saying, deter you from working on your relationship, because you work on that every day. So like I said, that is a great start for a lot of women that don't have men that open up. Just ask them. If they don't want to tell you, they don't want to tell you. Don't get upset. Don't get mad, because then you turn it back and you make it about you. You get what I'm saying? Oh, well, I'm done asking him because he ain't opening up to me. Oh,
But that
no,
is
I ain't fucking with
tiring,
that
though,
no more.
Brandon. It is
It, it
tiring,
is, but
depending on his level of
relationships are
emotional
tiring.
maturity.
Marriages are
No,
tiring. Love is tiring.
no, it's
Love don't
not.
sleep. That shit is tiring.
It's
So, I
not
mean, whether you
necessarily
want to go
tiring.
through it or not, that is your choice. That's your choice. I'm just saying, for me, that will always be a good thing in my house.
But
You just
Brandon,
So I'm
checking
I'm
on me
I'm, I'm gonna say I'm
sporadically.
gonna say
The
realistically. So
fatigue is
realistically, it
constantly asking him, and I don't think women are even aware that they should be doing that.
I
Literally,
agree. I agree.
true,
So I
and
think that was
true.
good, pretty good information.
co-
But I think
co-
realistically, I don't think it needs to be every day. I think that's kind
Yeah,
of
that's what I'm
overkill.
saying. No, it don't have to
I
be
think
every
more so
day.
like when you see like if he walks in the house and you normally see he's like, hey, how you doing? And he does something that's different than what you know, then yeah, of course. Even if you say I'm good, okay, cool. But I don't think it's necessarily a form of rejection. I think it's more so you kind of get tired of asking, but you're not reject. How are you being rejected when you're asking him a question? He's saying I'm good. He's not
oh,
rejecting
it is
you.
rejection.
It's rejection. Let's
I
call it
get
what it
exactly
is.
what Jakima, right?
Okay.
I get
Yes.
exactly what she's saying because we
Hmm.
want that full on connection. Depending on where we are emotionally in terms of our maturity, we want to come together and have this best friend thing. And we can't get there if every time we ask you what's up, you say I'm good, and we know you're not good. We're supposed to be patient, and then the next week we ask you what's up, and you say I'm good, and it's the same thing. It's a wall. No, nobody wants to, like, that's not even fair. That's the equivalent of whatever it is you feel like, you have to deal with us because of our past issues. We have to
So,
you want us to not treat you
so
like a
how
lame
can
person, but men are famous for doing that. Somebody else broke your heart, that's not my problem. But now you
But
don't
I
want to.
don't.
and open up.
I don't mean to cut you off.
So how can you
I don't
explain
think it's that
rejection?
though.
So how can you
I don't.
explain that you're
Go
being
ahead.
rejected from a person that don't even know they're rejecting you? Because when
You
I
got
say that,
I can
because
still
if
feel
I say that,
rejected.
I'm not necessary. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not ignoring you. I am like I answered your question, right? I answered your question for what I wanted to answer it for. That right then in time, right? It's not a rejection thing because I don't look at it as me rejecting you. I look at it as this is probably something that I might be tripping off of. Let me reevaluate and see if I'm tripping off of. If I do need to talk to you about it, I'll talk to you about it. Right now, babe, I'm fine. I'm okay. It might not even have nothing to do with y'all. But
And if
because
you
y'all
said
take it
yes,
as
that would be
but
okay.
be, but
it,
but because
and it doesn't,
y'all
but that
take
it doesn't
us
have to.
Go
but
ahead.
because y'all take it as a rejection, because you take it as a rejection, it becomes an issue.
Just
We
like you
don't
and me
have the
said, you
issue
take requests
necessarily.
as a rejection, and it becomes an issue.
But
It
yes,
becomes
that
an
this
issue.
door swing to
It's
both.
not
Here,
rejection.
here's the issue though.
Said it's a
Here's the
rejection.
issue though. Listening to you, Brandon, you are not dual perspective at all. Like you want us to see things from a male's perspective, as Coach K and I are actually doing a good job of trying to do. But I have yet to hear you chime in and try to see it from a woman's perspective. So if you go
Oh,
tell
I
us
do.
what a woman should be doing, I need you to have a dual perspective, because if just put yourself in the shoes that you telling us to do. You coming home and asking your girl every whenever, not I'm not gonna say every day, but whenever you see her off, you like, babe, you okay? Babe, you fine? Babe, what's going on? Babe, you gotta let me in. Babe, knock knock. Babe, 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 babe. You gonna be like, man, I'm done asking her. Because it's
Why
rejection. Like it's
why was your
rejection.
conversation
Hold on,
in
hold
there?
on.
Why was your conversation
Let
in
me.
there?
But hold on. Let me just kind of expound on so hopefully you're able to get an understanding because I could speak for like in the previous situation I was in. A lot of times it wouldn't be, oh, I'm going through this and I want to let you know. A lot of times be, I got this, because like you said, it looked like walls, but it has nothing to do with you. It could be like, I got this. No, I got to figure out how to do this and to make these moves, to make this money move, whatever the case is. It's a lot of things that be going in our mind. No, we don't express it to you, but we like in our mind one. And yes, it could be pride, but it's like, I want her to know that I got this. I'm in the house. I could have just got some. My check may have been, they didn't send the right check, or whatever the case is. But it's more so, I'm good because I don't want you to worry about it. I'm letting you know I got you. In our mind, I know y'all won't get that, but in our mind, it's just like we got all these things going on. What we're trying to do to make sure the household is good. So
And a
yeah,
lot of times
or we
y'all
may
want to
have a hard
talk while
day
we're
at work.
looking for a solution. Because we are
So listen
solution
though.
based type of
But
people.
wait. But wait, that's true. I can give you that. You got that. But listen though. So why you saying in your mind you letting us know I'm good, I got you. So why not communicate? Okay. So not, babe, I'm really not good, but I'm not in a position to talk about it. That's different than I'm good. Do you realize that? That's giving us
because it
something.
won't be,
That's true.
because it won't stop there. You guys won't be able to sleep at night knowing we just said that. You
That's
wouldn't be
not
able to sleep
true.
at
But
night.
look, listen,
Yes,
hold
no, it
on,
is true.
Brandon.
It
That is.
come on.
Pause, my turn, right? But we talking about building somebody's ability to be able to be what you want them to be, right? So in the sense of you building this, create a woman, let's call it that. So in the sense of you creating this woman to be what you want her to be, this is you building up her capacity to be what you need. So with her saying, like, okay, you telling her, babe, I'm not good, but I'm not in the mood to talk about it right now. Teach her that to be okay with that. That's this whole premise behind what you are saying, right? Let me get to this point. Let me show you what you want to be. Let me show you what I need you to be. That's your job. So now you can't come back and say y'all won't be able to do that. If we can't do it, then show us. That's all I'm saying.
If y'all
That's
And be
fair.
can,
open for us to
I
show
think that's
you.
fair. That's fair.
I
That's why
I
just
would agree. That's fair.
talking about the energy. When you're
that's
approaching
I
each
guess that's
other
fair.
with care,
But I
you
do
care about her
go
emotions
ahead.
and her feelings.
You say what, Coach K?
No, that's why I keep talking about it's the energy of it. Everybody wants their needs met. And there's nothing selfish about that, right? I could be by myself, but it's the
Right.
energy around it. Am I coming at you just to get what I need, or because I actually give a fuck about you as a person? That's different. It's different. And I should expect that this is all, the reciprocity is automatic and mutual and ongoing. And when there's an issue, we have a conversation. But what you said earlier, man, you making us work for it, because women need that connection. Like if a man was at least making progress towards the opening up, that's going to enhance everything. It's going to deepen the emotional connection, and she's going to be like open sesame all the time. You might get tired, but as long as you have some walls up, you are never going to get all that you want from us. It's just not going to happen. And I'm not saying that she may not be doing some things that are inhibiting your ability to open those walls up. Absolutely. It might be that that ain't the right person, or it might be that she has more growth to do, or whatever. But when you can get that emotional connection strong and build that up, that woman will run through a wall. She'll do whatever you want. The problem is, some men know all this. They know the code to all this and just use it for evil.
I agree.
And then we be hooked for years to still talking about him. Every sister circle we have, we bringing up Brian and what exactly went down, because he tapped all of that. And that emotional part, for some men who aren't healed enough within themselves, they aren't connected enough within themselves to be able to join together with you emotionally in the way that's needed to take that sex to a whole nother level and repetitively.
I think that was well said. I think the hard thing is for man, obviously when it comes to backgrounds or whatever, their child, whatever they went through that molded them into having the walls, because it a lot of times it don't even be relationship. It be things that happen that allow them to build up a type of callous to certain bull crap that they went through. And it's not the woman's fault, but I think learning and being able to open, it's a day-to-day it's a day-to-day thing. Like I said, I started learning and understanding things as a man at 33, right? So it's like it takes time and grow, because either we wasn't taught a certain way how to treat a woman, we wasn't taught how to deal with the woman, or be a partner to one. We just went based off of what we knew. Okay, I know how to provide, I know how to do this, I know how to cut the grass, I know how to do the basics. But when it comes to tending to your woman, to understand that, okay, it's emotion, understand, when it comes to doing the things that's necessary to keep that woman happy, understanding her love language, that's a whole nother, journey that a man should and want
I
to
completely
understand.
agree with you. Yep. Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you there too. I completely agree. And Miss what's your, I cannot say your name.
Jakima.
Jakima. Jakima.
Mhm.
I get where you're coming from. I understand. And what was that last part you said? You said
Hmm.
to
It's
teach you how to,
what's your capacity to teach, and what is her capacity to learn, and then vice
yeah.
versa.
But you don't feel like we need to be teaching each other?
I,
You
that's what
don't feel
vice
like we
versa
need to be
means.
teaching right, right, right. So when you say, teach me how to, I don't know how you put it, like it was like, no babe, I don't want to talk right now, maybe we could talk later. You said like sometimes you have to teach us to open up and make that, and
Mhm.
make sure that emotional space is safe for us, because what you may think is safe may not be safe for that man. You get what I'm saying?
I
So
think y'all should
so
role
so
play
so,
it right now. But
so
before we close out,
no,
I do think so, John. Let them practice
no,
it.
I just really feel, no, I just really
Come on,
feel like
Brandon,
she
stop
had a
talking and
great
let's
point,
practice.
but it,
Practice, Brandon.
huh?
Let's practice,
Practice,
Brandon.
practice with
Practice,
Yakima.
Brandon.
Oh my God, Chakima, listen, I ain't trying to argue that. Now, what's up? Let's do it. Let's do it. What?
I'm not an arguer, Brandon. I'm
Okay,
ready. You
mama.
ready? I'm about to ask you how's your day.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a problem, by the way. It wasn't a great day, but you're not ready to share it yet. That's
Okay.
the
All right.
foundation of this.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Hey babe.
action.
Hey babe, welcome home. How are you?
Uh, I could complain a little bit, but I'm not. But it's nothing that I really just want to dive into right now. I'd rather just go, take a shower or something. Can we talk about it later?
That's fine. Just know if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And don't forget you said we can talk about it later.
Blessings. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll see you in a minute, babe. I'm gonna go take a shower. That's how that goes. Then we circle back to it. Once I've had time to figure out in my mind how either A, I want to go about it, how A, I want to solve it or whatever. That's how that should go. That's how
Okay,
that
but
should
you
go. See, I know how to communicate just a little bit, right? See, I know how to communicate just enough to get what I need to get across
But how does it
and
go
to
left?
make you understand. But
How does it
but
go
but did that
left?
feel like
that's
a
where I was about to
rejection to
go with
you?
it.
Did that feel like a rejection to you?
No,
That did
no.
not.
But
No,
It
how
but
did
does
not feel
it
like a
go left?
rejection, right?
No, I
No,
want
but
but that
you.
wasn't. That's not how it was said, though. If that makes sense.
What you mean?
So what they were saying initially was pretty much I had a bad like how we'd be like, okay, nah, I'm good. You get what I'm saying? Instead of
yeah,
just
and
saying
then that
I'm
you cut it
good,
off. Yeah,
right? You pretty much like I don't like okay, let's just say I'm good, but I don't really want to talk about. It, we could talk about it later. That's better. What they're saying is that's a lot better, and it don't feel like rejection by just saying I'm good.
But later don't necessarily mean we finna talk about this right over dinner or tonight
absolutely,
or when we lay
absolutely.
down.
But you see,
But
you
we can
left it
definitely
open.
swing back around it. Right.
Yes, but you left it open. You didn't shut it down immediately. Like I'm good. It's shutting it down immediately. So you're
Right.
not to me. You're not feeding into her emotional needs. Like
But
I'm.
what
I'm
if I
here for
all right,
you.
so
She
let's
wants you
do
to know
this
she's there.
again.
Okay.
Let's do this again. Ask me how
Okay.
I'm doing.
No, we gotta say action.
Okay. Action.
Hey, babe. Welcome home. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. How are you today?
I'm fine. I can't complain either. You don't got nothing you want to talk about?
Uh, it's been a pretty chill day.
Oh.
See, now
Okay.
you making me nervous. You ain't got nothing you want to talk about. Who she been talking to? What you mean? What you seen something did I like the wrong picture? Oh my god.
No.
No,
It's
babe,
it's
I'm
it's
good.
the
No,
way
I ain't
you
got nothing to tell
responded.
Said,
you.
No,
like
see,
the wrong
You
that's
got
where it
something to
goes
tell me?
sideways right there.
No, no,
That's
no,
where it
no,
goes
no. But see,
sideways
listen,
right
because
here.
because it's not about what like it's about how you say things sometimes, right? So
But
when I
but
was like,
I'm following your
but look,
cues. Remember,
but right,
you
but when I'm
said
like,
I can't complain. If you talking about that means you got something you really want to talk about, but you don't feel comfortable. So that's me trying to
but
make you feel
but when
comfortable enough to get it out.
cool, cool. That's your way. Now let's try it this way. Hey, listen, you know, you didn't seem you didn't seem a little like you didn't seem sure about how your day was. You want to talk about it later or something? Because I can tell you, like I can tell you not okay, but that's okay. We can talk about it later. No need to worry, but I can tell. All right, baby. Yeah, it might have been a little rough today, but yeah, you're right. Let's just talk about it later. I'm gonna just get my thoughts together. You get what I'm saying? So when you like it's like it don't be enough dialogue sometime. Like now maybe I'm asking for too much. But me as a man, I'm very simple. I'm very black and white. You ask me how my day was, I say I'm good. You say, is it sure you don't know? Is you sure you ain't got nothing to tell me? I'm sure. Now
Look,
when you hit
Jimmy,
me with the look, man, I seen how you dropped your shoes off at the front door. You don't
yeah,
usually do
it
that.
is
You know,
different.
is there
It is.
something going on? Now, if you don't want to talk about it right now, that's fine. But I want you to know that I see you, and I
and then he
So
went
okay,
Okay,
and
that's
got
fine.
I say with experience. I said so with
and you got
experience.
to
I
give him
do think
some because he had a bad day. By the way,
yeah.
that would make it a little bit
no,
better.
that doesn't
Oh, I
no
gotta give
no
him some because
not
he had a
not
bad day.
necessarily. That's a bonus.
Okay.
That
Uh,
is a bonus. That's a bonus.
uh,
Well, I'm
That
not.
is a
We'll like it.
bonus.
We'll
no,
appreciate
we
it.
don't.
We don't expect
It's
it though.
not what we
Okay,
But
need.
it
I'll
would
use.
We
help.
don't expect
You
it.
know,
But it would
We don't
help.
expect it.
It'll
Is
help
it a
make the day
we'll
beautiful
get
better.
up.
touch? Is it a beautiful touch? Hell yeah, it's a
I'll say
beautiful
this:
touch.
we'll
But you
get
know
up and
what?
cook dinner for you.
I
Hey,
mean, dinner
We
listen,
may
it's
we
a
engagement
may do
anyway,
something.
right?
it's a
No, it is,
beautiful
but I'm
touch. If my
saying
girl comes
it's the
home and she having a
motivation, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
like
Like we already gonna do it, but now we happy to do it. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's fair.
So
yeah.
that's pretty much what it is. Cause we know we gonna cook dinner, but now we gonna walk in there with a whole swag, because yeah, I just did
And
that.
that should,
But
and you know
listen,
what? That should work both ways. When that woman's sitting there, because when you ask a woman, "Hey, what's going on?" She finna tell your ass. She finna let you know. She finna tell you. So after you sit there and you see she had a long day, it worked both ways. Would she like a little head? Probably so. After dealing with them white folk at work all day, probably so. Would she like to get her foot rubbed? Probably so. But that is, but and that's part of being that team. part of being that team. You can't take everything to offense. You can't take that he might not want to talk about what happened at work today to offense. And you can't take that she wants to talk all fucking day about what happened at work and you don't want to hear that shit. But you gotta sit there and listen. You gotta take that shit. You gotta be able to interact. So I don't mean just sit there with your mouth up. You gotta listen. You gotta you gotta rebuttal with her. You gotta
Right.
do all that. You know what I'm saying? So yes, like that should go both ways. Cause when you out and you lying to these white folks laughing and smiling, I want you to come in here and laugh and smile with me. If you can't, I'm gonna try to get you there. Same way with me. Same way. If I notice it's off, let's talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, let's go. But just know that I see you. Sometimes we just want to be seen. Just see me. That's
And sometimes
it.
we want to just be heard, hear us.
And look at
And
that.
that's what he did say
Look at
that
us
he would try.
agreeing.
He did
Look at
say
us.
he did say he would
You ain't
try.
see how we got
He did
here,
say
right?
he would
You
try,
see,
A
and
lot
I
of
don't
times it
know
was
what all your other conversations consisted of, but this moment right here where he was just talking, I saw the growth from this phone call. So I want to make
he's
sure
trying.
I give you
He's
some
trying.
praise for that.
You know what? I don't want to bust his bubble and tell him that most women don't want a little head because they had a stressful day. I don't
I was
think.
gonna say that too, but that's
Okay,
okay.
I'm sorry. That's what
That's a
you
guy
want.
thing.
You want it
maybe
Yeah,
to be
that,
that is
but
that's a
just
guy
like
thing.
you
because
That's
said,
a
you
guy thing.
attract what you are, right? You attract you attract what you are. So the
but
ones
here's
I
the
attract,
thing.
they
But
But
having
if
a
it's for,
bad day.
for
They want
women,
to
you
tweet.
hear
it's
this,
mental though.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's mental
I know. I'm
exactly.
just
So, but
messing
if
with
you
y'all a
hit
little
her with
bit
the
though, but I
mental,
get you.
you're gonna get that. She's gonna be like, oh wow, oh, that's all you had to say. But you can't start there, and that's just how that we are, like across the
You
animal
don't start
kingdom.
there. I
And
didn't say
so
you
okay, so
start
let me
there.
because I know what we about to do. We got like a couple more minutes. We're gonna do closing remarks. So I'm gonna say this for those obviously not saying like you have to do it every day, but let's just say the person had a bad day, right? And you know that you've seen it, and 9 times out of 10, if you instead of talking on the phone, if you see it and you pretty much speak on it, he may not say it then, but he'll probably eventually say it because you spoke on it. But I'm not to what he was saying. It can help if there is one day you just he walks in and you could just tell he got it in. He come in and it's something special. Not saying it got to be all the time, but for us, we'll remember that. You know, like 2 years ago, I remember you did this because it was like, dang, I needed it, and it was different than the norm because that's not something that you normally do.
I
That's
would do
from a
it
guy's
hands
perspective,
down.
though.
I would do it hands down. He had a bad day, and I do wish Carlina was on here. She would tell you that she's dropping it all the time.
And you
Okay.
set my standards very high when you do things like that. You know what I would. You know how hard it would be for another. If you ain't asking me how I'm doing, girl. If you ain't asking me if I'm okay after coming from that, oh, it's gonna be a hard time. Like I mean, so like you. Hey man, I just want to be loved. You know,
You
that's
broke him
it.
down, Jakima. Thank you for coming on here today. Because he
Oh,
was
I knew what
tearing
she
me
was
up.
coming on
I
here for.
thought we
When
were
she
gonna have to
showed up
break
late,
up.
I knew what that was for. I said, Brandon, you said too much. That's why I pressed mute on my shit. Like, God damn, who called her? I said, who
He
called
saw
her?
me drowning.
I
I'm
text
sorry.
Dominique's phone on the side, like, did you call her? No, I'm just playing.
No,
No, it was
any
great though. I
last
love
words?
bouncing this off of you guys, man. Yeah, it was pretty dope today. I enjoyed y'all today.
My last word is just stop. Don't waste time in relationships with people you can't talk to. Just don't do it. Because when
There
you
you
get
go.
to my big age, you will really regret it. Your time is on
Yes.
this earth is limited, and you deserve real connection. You deserve to be with somebody that you can trust with your body, with your heart, with your feelings, with all of that. And it's better to pleasure yourself than to stay in something where you can't even build toward that, and you know it. You
Right.
might think you're doing it, but you know that you've already reached the destination, and it doesn't include any of that. You just shouldn't waste your time there. You're worth more, and you can have whatever you believe you can have. You can have.
Jakim?
So my last words is gonna be this: before people get into the relationship, and that's men and women alike, I feel like you have to know your non-negotiables, and once you set those standards, you don't deviate from them. Period. Point blank. That's A. And B is you have to think about what's your capacity to teach and what's your capacity to learn. Because if you're not open to either, the relationship has failed before it even began.
Brandon.
Open enough
Oh,
to
I'm
listen.
sorry. I ain't know y'all was done. I really don't have many closing remarks. Things got a little spicy today, which was dope. I love that. I wish this could happen a little more often. I'm usually a little more reserved with some of the things that but Coach K makes me very comfortable on these platforms. So I appreciate you for that. But yeah, I think the only thing I'm gonna say is, communication, 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 man, is key. Conversation rule the nation. Having a conversation can get you in some of the best rooms. Having a conversation can get you through some of the worst situations. Whether that's with your partner, whether it's with your family members or anything. But I think I think if we get out of this socially awkward phase, communicate with each other, everything will fall in place. Whether it has to fall the one way or another. You get what I'm saying? Communication, communication, communication. That's all I got for y'all, man.
Hey Dom, can I
Go ahead.
tell Brandon one more thing? This goes back, going back to the beginning of the show. I just want you to know, Brandon, that if I do decide to dip down to the 30s, I will make a mean ass grilled cheese sandwich. I will go
That's
ahead
and
and
that's and that's all us
it's only
YN.
fair.
Well, that's all the YNs want. I don't want to say us because I'm but that's all they want. That's all they want, and that's the
I'm not
fastest
going
way
to
to a
the
man's heart,
YNs.
no matter the age, no matter
Okay.
the age. And what I tell you, Coach K, you never let a man perform on an empty stomach. Now, you lose, not him.
Point taken. I need him to give everything he's got, so I'll make sure he's got
As
the
he
food.
should. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good day. It was great talking to y'all, man.
Yes, thank you for this episode of Open Up to
Peace.
Listen. Everyone have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.